right hand for me. Do you so solemnly swear and affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you may be seated. You will have the opportunity to either testify in your mask, or you can take it off and testify, whichever you prefer to do, okay?
I'll take it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fitzmarky?
Thank you, Judge. Can you please state your name and spell your last name for the court reporter?
Jennifer Chapman, Chapman.
And how are you employed?
I'm employed with the City of Plano as a police officer.
And what are your current duties right now?
Currently, I'm with the neighborhood units, and I do problem-oriented policing.
Okay. Back in 2018, around March 2018, what was your role at that time?
So then I was on light duty. I was assigned to the general assignments where I investigated theft cases.
Okay. And did you have an occasion to help out in the investigation of Mr. Chemirmir?
I did.
In the capacity of working on this case, did you do some work as far as some of the technical background and looking at things like OfferUp records and phone extraction?
Yeah, I looked at a lot of data and just kind of sorted out things that were priority.
Okay. We have already, the OfferUp records are, well, let me do this first. The phone extraction is already in the evidence. I want to show you this exhibit 295.
Okay.
These portions of the phone extraction for Mr. Chemirmir's phone.
Yes.
We'll offer State's Exhibit 295, which is a PowerPoint.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, State's Exhibit number 295 will be admitted.
Permission to publish?
You may.
Close.
All right, can you see it up there?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so the phone extraction. Phone extraction. We've already heard from Detective Tabor, who basically told us that this is the workings of the phone and the data that's contained on the phone.
Correct.
And this is the phone that was taken from Mr. Chemirmir on his arrest. Is that right?
That's correct.
And we can look at a few things in here, but you can see this. What's the phone number that this phone extraction is connected to?
The 972 674 7527.
Okay, and so that's contained on this first page of the extraction, showing that this is the phone of Mr. Chemirmir.
Correct.
Now, there was a photo taken by that phone.
Yes.
And whenever a phone is taken, it's then saved in the, what happens to it on the phone? Is it saved on the images?
It's saved in the images, as well as it could have been in the text messages or anything like that, but this particular photo was just saved in the images.
Okay. And then there is metadata that goes along with that picture, is that right?
That's correct.
And is it given a name?
So it's given a name. It's basically the date and the time that it was taken, the size of it, and then its storage path.
So when we see the name of it here, we see that it's from March 19th of 2018.
Yes.
And is this the time that it was taken at 10:29?
Yes. And 47.
45? I see
40.
45. I don't know.
No. Well, it's 10:29 and 47.
Okay. All right. Oh, I see down here, okay, the 10/29/47, you see the time it's created. Is that right? Is that what you're
Yes.
looking at?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, does it also give you the latitude and longitude of where the photo was taken?
On this photo, it sure did.
Okay.
It's just down a little bit.
And so when you map that, well, is this the actual photo then that's on that phone?
Yes, it has the same title.
And you know this to be Mary Bartell's ring.
I do.
And when we look at this, the ring itself as a descriptor, there's what's on the side of the solitaire in the middle.
I guess that's like a just flow of diamonds or.
Okay. And then
script.
if you look closely at it, and you see the 4 points there. Are those the posts that are holding it in place?
Yeah, it has the singular solitaire in the middle.
And then this is the latitude and longitude where that photo was taken.
Yes.
And then when we plot that, is that right there at Pier Ridge where his apartment is located?
It's close to it, yes.
We have this photograph, it's a small version of what's marked as State's Exhibit number 46. That's a small copy of it that's taken at his apartment or near his apartment at 4500 Pier Ridge
That's correct.
that morning of the 19th. Now, did you also look into the OfferUp records? Oh, one more thing about his phone. Did you also find a picture on his phone taken on March 6th of 2018
Yes.
at around close to 10 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
And that picture is dealing with a Nissan Altima,
That's correct.
which we know him to have been driving at that time.
Yes.
These are already in evidence, but State's Exhibit number 312, that's the OfferUp records for 2 accounts of Mr. Chemirmir.
Correct, yeah.
So when these OfferUp records come back, they're actually in like a PDF format that you can then scroll down through. Is that
Right.
right? So we look at this first account. Yeah. One second, Judge. Okay. So as we look at these records, I think we're on page 3 here. This billchem@gmail.com. Did you learn this to be a email address for Mr. Chemirmir?
Yes, it was 1 or 2.
And then we see over here ZebZeb4.
It's going to be his username.
So when you create an OfferUp account, can you put whatever name you want to in there?
Yes.
And so we've already seen, Detective Martinez showed us that this ZebZeb4 was on his phone as an OfferUp account name.
Okay.
Now, if you scroll down through, there's different buying messages, selling messages, and then items down below.
Correct.
And so there's a block of buying messages, a block of selling messages, and a block of messages down below of the items that they're talking about in those messages.
Right.
So in each item has its own unique number to it.
Yes.
Safe to say?
Yeah.
And then you can communicate, much like you can on texting, through this from buyers to sellers.
Right.
And so you don't have to give out your actual phone number if you don't want to.
Right. You don't have to, but then you have to meet up at some point. So.
Okay. So on the buying messages, we can see different areas. Like on page 6 here, you see that phone number that's associated with Billy Chemirmir.
Yeah. So basically, Zeb4 sent it to KRE.
So Zeb4 tells KRE, this is my phone number.
Right.
Page 23, there again, Zeb4 is contacting whatever this person is on Facebook and giving the name, the phone number, and then again, his name is, gives his name Billy. And that's the same phone number that we've been talking about in this phone extraction.
Yes.
Page 24, there he gives an address, Zeb4 gives an address, which, do we know that to be his address?
It is that.
So although we don't have Billy Chemirmir's name in this, are we finding identifiers that say, this is Billy Chemirmir communicating through?
Yeah, I would assume so.
One thing I want to point out on this account, because we're going to be talking about two separate accounts. We go back to page 5. And it goes, so the lower the page number, the later in date we go. Okay?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, you can see it.
So when you, and the times are in UTC time. What does that mean?
So UTC is basically like a universal time so that everybody's on the same page. And then depending on the time of year, you would subtract whatever time zone you're in, whatever. So
And this time of year, do we subtract 5 hours
That's
in
correct.
order to get us to what the actual time is?
if we're talking about March, yes, 5 hours.
Okay. So in March at 3, so the last time there's a buying message. So this is the time that Mr. Chemirmir would be trying to purchase something. The last date we have is 3/12 of 2018.
That's correct.
So page 117 of this starts selling messages at that time. Is that right?
Yes.
One thing I did want to point out on pages 5 through 7 on the buying messages, he doesn't buy a ring at any time on those buying messages on pages 5 or 7. Anytime around this time, he doesn't buy a ring.
Not that we can tell.
on that
Yeah.
account.
No.
Also, there are no $2 bills being purchased
No, I didn't see that at all.
through OfferUp. Okay. So here are the selling messages that start. These are the things that he wants to actually sell on this account.
Correct.
Page 149. Is this where the items start to be sold?
Yeah, and then they have like their own link and
Okay, so we have, I want to draw your attention. So there's on page 151, there's this number here. It's kind of hard for everybody to see, but you see a BBE FC 55E.
Yes.
thereafter?
Yes.
And that's described as a white gold diamond ring? Is that right?
Yes.
And then the sale time, or the time it's posted, what date and time is that?
3/19/2018 at 15:31 UTC time.
So that would be 12/31?
Right. Minus and 5, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry, 10/31.
10:31. We're both wrong.
No, we're both right. It's been a long day. Okay.
I was trying.
Okay.
Everyone's like,
All right, so I want you to keep in mind that BBEFC,
yes.
okay? We'll go down to page 154. So now these are the URLs. And tell us what that means when we talk about URLs.
URLs is like its own link to where it's trying to go to.
Okay, so if you see how my pointer changes from an arrow down to a finger.
Right.
So if I click on this BBEFC55E,
It's a hyperlink.
and that's a hyperlink to that ring.
Right. Matches
Okay.
the same picture that we.
And that comes from OfferUp. Like this is their link. That when I
Yes.
click on it, it goes automatically to there.
Correct.
So that will be about 2 minutes after the photo was taken on that we have up there on his phone.
Yes.
Okay, so if we go back up, and these are all password protected. So if we go back to the selling messages to we focus on this 3/19 date. So on 3/19, at that 15:31, let's see, 15/19, 16/24, the white gold diamond ring, that BBE, you see that BBE?
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay, that's that second line down. And it looks like there is someone contacting him by the name of Mike Cousin
Yes.
to ZZ4.
Correct.
Can you meet today?
Right.
All right, and then what's the response from ZZ4?
Yes. When? Or where?
Where?
Yes, where?
Okay, all right. And then we have to scroll up to go forward in time. Mike Cousins sends a message to him that says,
Do you have a number?
and then ZZ4 says to Mike Cousin,
Can you meet cost in 635?
and then he corrects it to something else to.
Kuwait in 635?
All right, and then there's automatic responses that come in from OfferUp that kind of tell you, hey, be careful about making arrangements.
Yeah, there's probably some bot in there listening to you.
So then, but Mike Cousins responds, yes.
Yes.
All right, and then Mr. Chemirmir says, what time? And then is there a response time?
At 1 p.m.
And did they say where they want to meet or what place?
Starbucks on the corner.
And then if we go to 1624, so we're at 1128, you would say headed there right now. Is that what Mr. Chemirmir says?
Yes, I'm heading there right now to a gold diamond place. Need money ASAP.
Need money ASAP. So right, you know that right next to that Starbucks, right next door, is a diamond and gold exchange.
There is
Okay, there's also a Metro PCS store in that same shopping area.
Subway.
Okay. So my cousin says I can meet you right now. And then my cousin says, what, I have cash?
Yes.
My cousin then says,
If I like it, they give you $1,400.
okay. He responds,
Okay, we'll let you know when I'm on my way.
okay, and then there's more response.
I'm on my way in 20 minutes.
And then he says back.
Me too.
Now we jump to 17:05, so now we're at 12:05.
Yes.
And then Zeb4 says,
I'm here outside Starbucks.
and then my cousin,
I'll be there in 2 minutes.
and there's an okay. And then there's but I'm inside from my cousin.
True, but I'm inside.
All right. And then Mr. Chemirmir says, I'm outside the door with the green coat.
Yes.
All right. And then there's another request about that ring, saying it's still for sale by some Johnny.
Yeah, just Johnny.
Some Johnny. Okay. All right. So that I think contains all the information on OfferUp about this ring. I do want to ask you about another item inside this OfferUp. Okay. Okay, so below the items that we were just talking about there starts the URLs, and then it starts there's another account for Mr. Chemirmir, is that right?
Correct.
And so this account now has a different email address of morninglaw@gmail.com.
That's correct.
And did you learn that to be an email associated with Mr. Chemirmir?
Yes, I did.
Do you see Mr. Chemirmir in the courtroom?
I see him.
Okay. Can you describe an article of clothing that he's wearing?
He's wearing glasses and he just pulled his mask down.
Okay. Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant in open court.
All right, the record was so reflected.
All right, and then he's now got the name of Zebraline for this account.
Correct.
And on this one, he actually put in his own phone number of 972-674-7527.
Yes.
Do you see that on January 31st of 2018,
Yes.
that there's a very nice diamond engagement ring being posted in the items
Yes.
with the unique number of 395D3E? You see that?
I see that.
And if we go down to the URLs, you see that same number, that 395D3E?
Yes.
And when we click on that URL, we see that very nice diamond engagement ring.
Yes.
Do you know that ring to be associated with a homicide that occurred in Richardson?
I do.
I'll pass with this.
Mr. Warren, any questions?
No question, John.
All right, thank you. Ladies, witness be released.
Yes, Judge.
No objection.
All right, thank you. You may step down. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this will be a good time for us to take, I would say, our afternoon break. So we will go ahead and take at least a 15-20 minute break for you to stretch your legs. Whenever y'all get back and situated, push the red button. We'll come.